hamster with a blunt penknife to do it quicker.
Welcome back to A Hamster with a Blunt Penknife, the Doctor Who commentary podcast. I'm speaking with reverence here because we're going back. No, further than that. Bit further. Yep. No, right back to the very beginning. The beginning of Doctor Who for An Unearthly Child. Now, obviously, there's a tale of youth about this. So my tale of youth is I saw this when I was young.
Let's just get
it out of the way now.
I was wondering about this because obviously it's a well-known established fact that you've been watching Doctor Who longer than me and Joe have been alive.
Yes.
So you presumably watched this when it went out first time?
Shut up.
Frazer's been
I saw
logging
it
that
when
joke
it went,
for ages, isn't he?
I saw this episode when it went out for the third time.
Oh, what was the third time?
The Five Faces of Doctor Who.
See, I wasn't old enough for that. When did that go out in 80?
1981.
Oh, I was 1 year old then.
Yeah, so it would have been November 1981. And it seemed like the most ancient and impossible thing that I was watching. It seemed really, really old. It was 17 or 18 years old at that point. And now
unthinkable.
Yeah. Now this very week it is 60 years old, and it seems impossibly old.
We're so old. Oh god.
Well, one of us is so old.
Yeah, we're still young. Sorry.
Yep. You could call me Old Si.
We've all got special Zoom names today. Perhaps we should all introduce ourselves. I am Old Mother. Hello.
I am the mysterious traveller in time known as Si.
And I am Frazer.
And you will not make fire.
I make fire come from my fingers.
The last time he said Frazer like that, he was doing an impression of Storr from the Invasion of Time.
He was. It's true. Well, so here we are. It's the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Yay.
And we have convened to talk about the very first story of Doctor Who, which is slightly controversial at the moment. So let's hope this gets lots of annoying traction with a certain Mr. Coburn.
Oh, I've invited him along. He's coming on 2, 3, and 4.
Oh. Is he
to
going to
let
sit?
us know why we shouldn't be watching it.
He's just going to sit in the corner and shout, "Tribe of Gum! Tribe of Gum!"
Well, I've invited Ian Levine on for those episodes as well. It's going to get Larry, folks.
Mm-hmm. So, just to start us off, I have a question for you both, because today I am going to do that. I'm going to mess with the formula. When did you first see An Unearthly Child?
Right, you go first, because I'm trying to think.
You go first, because I need to Google it.
Oh, well, mine was definitely the VHS, but I had already read the Target novel. That fabulous cover of the TARDIS in the junkyard.
Lovely.
I'm not sure I thought too much of that Target novel, though. Do you know? I'm not sure I thought much of old Doctor Who. It was that you know, I was that young that it was all a bit creaky. But when the VHS came, I remember being completely blown away by the first episode, and thinking about how modern it felt, like in its pacing and how it got to the point and in its direction and things. And then I absolutely remember wanting to dismiss every opinion I'd heard about 2, 3, and 4, because for me it was the most sort of convincingly scary and weird environment I'd ever seen in Doctor Who, and how the actors responded to it. It felt more sort of emotional and visceral and real than I had ever seen in Doctor Who before as well. So I still think they're great.
Yeah, and I don't think you see that in Doctor Who ever again quite to this extent.
Yeah.
And we'll have lots to say about this, I'm sure. But we'll just fill while Fraser is Googling. So
you've done yet?
Nearly. I've got it down to the year and the month. I'm just trying to find the actual day.
He don't
okay.
Google on track 1 or any of the others, you know.
I do. We all do. It's just edited, so no one tells.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Can I say that?
I've got it.
Oh, I'll say in a minute then.
Go on then.
It was August the 26th, 1991.
That's very specific.
Which was the Lime Grove story.
Yes.
On BBC Two.
Yes. Grandad's got a good memory.
You cheeky bitch.
I needn't have bothered that. I could have just asked little Wikipedia there, and you would have known.
What was your reaction to this then?
It was fun. It was wonder. It was, it was Lime Grove. Like Si says, it was the Lime Grove celebration. So it was like a day of programming on the BBC to celebrate Lime Grove Studios. And so they showed a few things. I think they showed like Adamant, was it? Mm-hmm. Was part of that. And one of the things they showed was the pilot version of Unearthly Child. So I think that was like one of the first bits of Doctor Who that was ever repeated, certainly in my lifetime. So I remember watching that and just watching these things that I was familiar with unfold. So sort of like the TARDIS coming out, William Hartnell coming out. No idea who Ian and Barbara and Susan are. So watching these characters kind of unfold and all these, the bigger on the inside than the outside all happening. And then that end bit where the TARDIS materializes and you just see that shadow of the cliffhanger, the shadow across the sand onto the police box, and thinking, well, that could be anything. That's, we know it's time and space. You automatically think, well, that's just like an alien landscape, and it's some sort of, weird bug-eyed monster that's going to come and threaten the crew. So when I got the VHS a couple of years later to then watch part 2, and they have the reveal from that cliffhanger, because there's nothing given away on the sleeve of that DVD, VHS, to have that reveal that actually it's not an alien, it's a caveman, was just astounding. Yeah. It was just, oh man, right. So we've gone back in time, and it's all of a sudden, it's a whole new ball game in your head, but it's a fascinating one. It's thrilling, and I'm quite happy to die on the hill that says the caveman episodes of this are just as good as the London-based opener.
I've just been saying that, whilst you were Googling there.
Yeah, we're all going to be on the same page then.
Oh, so, great. I was hoping that one of us wasn't going to be, one of those old whingers about 2 to 4.
Well, Levine and Corbyn are coming in, aren't they? So they are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course. It's preempting it a little bit, but what you said there about the cliffhanger, it's so great because you've just been introduced to this concept where this show can go anywhere. It's a time machine and it's a space machine. And then they give you the most ambiguous cliffhanger of all time, that landscape and just a shadow. So for once, the possibilities are endless. Usually we get very literal cliffhangers in Doctor Who, don't we? That's why I think it's one of the best ones.
I think it's a great cliffhanger. That's going to get the audience back next week the few who were there anyway, because JFK had just been assassinated. So, yeah.
But I don't think we should take away from just how extraordinary that first episode is.
God, no. Mm-hmm.
And how kind of different it is from anything else in Doctor Who, and how that reaction of Ian and Barbara going into the TARDIS for the first time is still probably the very best that we ever saw in the series. They don't leave a lot for the rest of Doctor Who, if I'm honest, but until probably Tegan. I think Tegan's the next time you actually get a companion going into the TARDIS, and it is a realistic sort of reaction to the madness of what's in there.
Jo Grant has a bit of a...
Oh, she has a bit of a paddy, doesn't she?
Bit of a moment, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But Tegan's like properly scared, like Ian and Barbara are. Yeah.
I think Peter Capaldi's is quite good as well.
Oh, that was fabulous. Oh my God. What about you then, Si?
What about me?
Well, about the first time you saw it. What was your reaction?
I saw it at the Five Faces of Doctor Who. And I was just really excited to see the very first Doctor Who story. So I was 2 years into watching Doctor Who at this point, and to get a chance to see something with another Doctor. So technically, my second Doctor is William Hartnell, which is quite. I mean, as a 6 year, I was 6. That was just wow, because I'd seen pictures of him, but I never thought I'd ever get to see him move or say anything or anything like that, you know. And you never saw old Doctor Who stories, so this
Trust
was
you
just
to be so unique that William Hartnell is your second Doctor.
Well, you know, I think there are probably a lot of people around my age who had exactly the same experience.
My first Doctor was Herndl, you know, in the Five Doctors.
Yeah,
that's the first Doctor I saw.
Yeah, I think there's probably the next set of next generation of Doctor Who fans who had Herndl as their first Doctor.
That's right, Fraser. So, we are the next generation.
So yeah, and as I said, I think because the prints that they showed were quite. That obviously we were pre-restoration days, so you took what you got. So it seemed old and crackly and weird, and I think that just added to the whole sort of experience of it that first time. It seemed spooky.
That's like listening to something on vinyl, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just
that almost
that
like hisses and pops and crackles, doesn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there's something so weird about how they can't communicate with those cave people. I don't think we ever really do that again either, do we?
No.
Where, you know, it is so different from what they're used to that they are completely at odds.
Well,
fishes out of water.
Yeah. This is the first Doctor Who story, and there are no rules. There are no rules whatsoever. This is
exciting, isn't it?
Anything. And it's sort of cutting free. And then the rules are established by Terry Nation in 4 weeks' time.
That's right.
About how you do a Doctor Who story, really.
And that's fabulous as well.
Well, it is. As everyone will find out this very week.
Does that mean Barbara's in pink in this?
No. Well, no, because she gets changed.
Oh, okay, good.
Because everyone has to get changed because they get really, really dirty.
Oh, yeah. See, we don't really do that very often either, do we?
We don't, no.
It's like the end of one of these recordings that we have, you know, filthy, sweaty. We've been through the mud.
Stop it.
And we can only hope that Fraser's going to get dressed up in skins and fight another bloke in the Cave of Skulls.
Right, I did that once, just as a favour for your birthday. We're not doing it again.
Oh, sorry, I filmed it and put it on my OnlyFans. Sorry.
I know you did.
Happy birthday, Doctor Who.
That's the only way to do it on Hamster, really, isn't it?
So should we watch this thing then?
Yes. I was just about to say that.
Oh, everyone's wondering what that OnlyFans account is now. They all want to see it.
It's Quarks are mint.
Yeah. The things you do with that quark. Oh, anyway, right, let's go into episode 1.
Okay. Right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go into time and space.
Oh, it's so exciting. I feel a bit of a frisson.
These titles must have blown everyone's mind. And nothing looked or sounded like this in 1963. I've watched some dramas from around that time, and Doctor Who is so different to everything else that's going on. It's surprising. We pick the production values of Doctor Who apart quite a lot, but we shouldn't, because it's so much better than so much of the stuff that's going on around it.
I mean, did you see as well there? It was the very first Dr. Oho on the screen.
It was.
The reverse Who.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this opening of the policeman, going through the mist with the music rolling on as well.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's like just
instant suspense and mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And do you not think there's a bit?
He's not that good a policeman, then, is he? Because he's just checked that door to see if it's locked, and it's just swung right open. Do
you remember when they did that again for Day of the Doctor?
Yes.
Yeah. That was clever, wasn't it? That was black and
It
white
was,
as well,
that was
wasn't
great.
it? That beginning. Yeah. Oh, look at this mouldy old junkyard. Why are we poking around the nooks and crevices of this place?
Well,
What's
exactly.
a police box doing there?
It's a
Well,
police
how
box.
very strange. Why hasn't it changed?
Frazer, Si, it's alive. Oh no, there's the name, Anthony Coburn.
Well, there's a bit of controversy over this as to who actually wrote this episode, isn't there? Depending on
Who's the other possibility?
Who you listen to. Well, my very good friend and confidant, Mr. Ian Levine, will tell you that it was someone else entirely that wrote this.
Well,
this
yeah,
episode.
I mean, there's C.E. Bunny Weber.
That's the one, yes.
Is
someone,
and obviously David Whittaker had a lot of
input into this.
Yeah.
I love that. Talk about setting the scene immediately, you know? And you know that girl on the right? I know Tony Haydock did a whole episode on her. She looks just like my mum when she's a teenager. They all had that sort of look, didn't they?
Yeah.
Susan Foreman, eh? She your problem too?
Oh, I just don't know what to make of her.
She lets out the knowledge a little at a time so as not to embarrass me.
You feel an instant rapport between these two, though. It feels like they have known each other for a long time.
Yeah. And they're so brilliant.
I mean, they're always brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah.
From the first second to the last.
And they're the leads of this episode.
I think
I think Ian is the lead of the show for the majority of the first year, really.
Yeah.
So you say that. I think it's Jackie Hill's Barbara. I think she does a lot of the legwork in season 1. I mean, I think Ian's the hero.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
I just even today, even 60 years on, this gets across the mystery of Susan, the junkyard, all of this in a couple of scenes so quickly. It's kind of how you would pace TV now.
It's incredible scene setting, isn't it? I mean, we kind of take it for granted, I think, a little bit, because it's so efficient.
That still looks like a classroom, science classroom from when I was a nipper, with those weird taps and the Bunsen burners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really clever how it's like done in flashback as well. It's, you know, we introduce the mystery of Susan and we use the flashbacks to explain it.
You remember in the Daleks where the doctor, Ian shouts at the doctor and goes, "It's all your fault. You had to go and see the city and all this." He doesn't say to Barbara in this, "Well, it was all your fault. You had to go and see that junkyard, didn't you?" Because basically it is her fault that we go into the TARDIS at all.
Well, it is, but he's very complicit in it. He's very much like, "Yep, we need to stalk this girl. Fine, follow her home."
And I'll tell you both something that's going to stun you rigid. Si's doing the Susan dance now. May I say there's something very Avenger-esque and exotic about you at the moment. No, that's not what's going to stun you. I actually think Caroline Ford is extremely good in this first story. Yes. And it's after this that she basically, the character is just let go and she's the wailing victim.
Yeah,
she's weird, but kind of likable and kooky, and
well, this is the character she signed on for, isn't it? Or like the one in the pilot where she's doing weird things with ink blots and.
Oh, I love that bit. Is that not in this version, in the transmitted version?
No, because she does the that's not right. Instead.
She puts the hexagon, doesn't she? And then she folds the paper. And then she looks around her like, "Oh fuck, I've almost left some terrifying secrets that people might find out." Push along the sides of the Times.
It's her grandfather's name, written in High Gallifreyan.
I like the fog. It's mysterious.
It's interesting as well, because if this was coming out now, the whole implication that comes up in a minute about Susan being kidnapped in a box and all of this. I just don't know if they play this now.
Well, no, I don't think you could do this with two teachers just turning up at your house,
pursuing her home and all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a different time.
Yeah, you could call the social instead.
And like, put yourself in the mind of people watching this at the time. They're probably thinking there's going to be some mundane answer, like, "Oh, she is meeting a boy in there," or something like that. You know, something obvious.
Well, it's the old joke, isn't it? That
to be honest,
Doctor Who was never as good once it stopped being a school drama.
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from here.
If you're watching this for the first time, I mean, the clue's in the title, isn't it?
An unearthly child.
Unearthly child.
Yes.
You'll be watching this, you're thinking, right, there's two teachers, there's a child. Is that an unearthly child? Is something strange going on here?
Well, she's certainly the weirdest one there. I love all these POV shots.
They're terrific, aren't they? And it's Boris Hussein being clever, because he's got to marshal his resources, because he can't have them in the shot because they're in the car, and because you're recording as live, so you focus the camera on Carol Ann Ford.
But there is an immediacy to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
And because she is so weird and she's staring right out the camera at you.
Yeah, it makes her seem weirder somehow.
And look how much she's moving the camera. You don't get this sometimes in the 80s. You know?
No. I think we undervalue Boris Hussein because we only have these 4 episodes. I think if we had Marco Polo as well, he would be even more lauded than he. I mean, his camera work is so fluid throughout all 4 episodes. He is.
I know.
And you compare this to Richard Martin in a couple of weeks' time, and there's no comparison, and he should be right up there.
Marco Polo probably looked extraordinary.
I have a feeling it did.
You know, because he would have cut his teeth on this, and then he'd be like, right, now I know what I can do. Yeah. Oh, don't you love what she says? Oh, well, you know, you can get those chemicals together, and then we can go and do something more interesting instead.
What do you need E for?
What do you make the 5th dimension? I was waiting for someone to say it.
Space.
Too many questions, not enough answers.
Setting up a good mystery, you see.
With a 15-year-old girl who's brilliant at some things, excruciatingly bad at others. I mean, it's just great. This is great dialogue as well. Is the introduction of Susan one of the best companion introductions? How this is done?
Ooh.
Yes, because you never think of it like that. I mean, technically, this is an introduction to 3 companions all at once.
Yeah.
I think there's only one other time when that is done, and that is The Woman Who Fell to Earth, when you've got all 4 being introduced in one story.
Yes.
What the hell is that creepy mask in there?
It's just brilliant set dressing. But it really makes it, because makes the junkyard look weird and strange and unknowable as well. And that you're going into somewhere that doesn't feel quite right. Everything about this is not quite right from this moment onwards when they go into the junkyard. And this is what I meant about it being spooky, because the music is really creepy and bizarre. This is Norman Kay, who does a few stories through season 1, wherever we are. I have no idea where we are now. And the music's really odd and brilliant and strange.
He does the brilliant original Star Trek style. Da-da!
Yeah.
Something dramatic happens. Did you notice then, as they were going towards the door, we were sort of over Barbara's shoulder, almost as if we're like a third person going in.
Yeah, and it makes it feel really immediate.
It cut into, and the camera suddenly going through all the ephemera, like trying to find them. It's really well shot, this.
Yeah, he's going upstairs, having a good look around. Oh, what's that? He's got no matches. Never mind, I'm sure that won't be important.
Yeah,
Chekhov's matches, see. It's alive! I did this with my friend Dave once. My Scottish friend Dave. He's wonderful. He's a big fan of the TARDIS. and the consoles and things. And we were at Panopticon at 40, so that was 20 years ago. And it was and they'd got the 80s TARDIS prop in the corner of the room, and in the night, sort of in the evening, they were playing music in there, and it was quite pounding music. So I said, come on, Dave, come on, I want to do something. So I took him up, put his hand on the TARDIS door, and because it was vibrating from the music, I just said, "It's alive!" And he was just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!"
Oh, here he is! It's the governor. What are you doing here? Can I say, right? Mark and I watched Brighton Rock last week.
Yeah,
where Hartnell gives an extraordinarily focused performance, like really scary performance. And I'd never seen him do anything apart from Doctor Who. And it really showed me how much he is giving to his portrayal as the Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
This is not him at all.
No. He is magnificent, isn't he? Look at him.
But don't you like that sort of sinister angle they go for the first sort of couple of stories?
Yes. I'm glad they didn't keep it for long, but this is where you get the crotchety old man thing. And it all comes from this being the only story that fans could easily watch, because everyone who could videoed it, so it was readily available. And so
imagine if it was the Romans,
he's chuckling
or
away,
like that. Or the Web Planet when he's giggling like a loony for episode 1.
Yeah, the Time Meddler, where he's, space helmets for cows.
So what's the inference here? That he does own the art? He's sort of going, oh, look at this painting's all dusty and needs repairing.
Sort of got into his life here.
So how long have they been here for?
Oh, quite a few months, I think.
Oh, because she's been established at the school, isn't she?
Yeah, it's never sort of stated outright how long it is. I mean, there are various stories set around this time, aren't there? And things. So I think when they did that box set for the 50th anniversary with the audio adventures, there's a story set before.
Kim Newman's Telos novella Time and Relative, which is a great book.
Yeah.
That was set before this as well.
Yeah,
look at him.
He's listening to every word they are saying.
He's slippery, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a great word, Fraser.
He's so slippery, yeah.
I love it when he goes, oh, go on then, go and find a policeman. I'll be here waiting to see their faces when you come back with your ridiculous story. It is very different from the original version as well. I actually think I prefer the original pilot for a couple of reasons.
Oh, right. Oh, I prefer this.
He's gentler in this, isn't he, than he is in...
I like the mischief that he's got here, because he's not... Although he's sinister, he's not... I don't know. I just prefer this, I think.
Oh, my God. Oh, my word.
And that is so well done.
The way that we sort of go in with Barbara and then we just pan around, don't we, to this insane white room.
And it's been so dark out in the junkyard, and then suddenly you're in the bleak whiteness.
You get Barbara coming towards the camera, and then you get Ian going away from the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It's so sad. When you think about the TARDIS console room in like the 70s, it's so small.
Yeah,
this feels vast.
And you think this was like a standing set as well. So they've got like a tiny studio in Lime Grove, and they've filled out a lot of it with a standing set. Makes you wonder why they didn't do more things like inside the spaceship, which were actually set in the TARDIS.
And they did a wonderful thing, don't they, in season 1, where they've got 2 sets next to each other, so you can see out the doors to the location that they're going in. And you get that
wonderful shot in the Sensorites, don't you, where you walk through the doors into the spaceship.
The only time that's done.
Yeah, until the new series.
Wow.
But then you get that lovely scene in the Space Museum that we talked about, Joe, where William Russell is doing the same thing with his hands when he walks out of
that, isn't it?
He's like pumping his fist, and he's doing the same thing when he walks out as when he walks onto the set.
It's sort of visual tricks to suggest that you're going in and out of the box. Yeah. But that's such a cheap thing they could do, because they did so much in a studio, to have the two studios, the two locations next to each other, so you could go out. They could kind of have done that every week if they wanted to.
Yeah. But it's like we've said before, sometimes they forget how to do things, and so they don't do them again. And so you've got all these, because some people don't come back to work on the show again, so that doesn't get passed on.
It's worth remembering as well, at this point, all we know really is that this is a box which is bigger on the inside than the out. So they sort of stagger the surprises, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, I made up
box.
from the initials, time and relative dimension in space.
Oh, you lying bitch, honestly.
Well, no one's going to be there to say, no, you didn't. This is standard Gallifreyan technology. Blah, blah, blah.
Just let me get this.
You don't understand, do you? I knew you wouldn't.
Let me get this straight, Si Hart Frazer. A thing that looks like a police box standing in a junkyard. It can go anywhere in time and space.
Quite so. But that's ridiculous.
Joe, you're treating us like children.
The children of my civilization would have found this insulting, Fraser.
I love the glee in his face. And this is just magical, isn't it? The wanderers and having to be exiles
I
from your
quote
planet
all the
that's been
time.
destroyed.
To people that aren't Doctor Who fans, they look at me as if I'm mad. Oh, one day we'll go back, he says.
One day, yeah, and then that gets echoed in Susan's last thing, isn't it? The one day,
Susan's goodbye.
One day we'll reach Arc of fucking Infinity. Yeah, you will go back one day. That fabulous ceiling thing.
Yeah.
You don't see ceilings very often in classic Doctor Who.
Oh, you do love ceilings, don't you? You do.
I love a ceiling and a shaft.
And it's lovely to see that back in the Tales of the TARDIS as well.
The Peter Kay over there. Oh, you don't get ceilings anymore. I don't remember when you used to have roundels in the TARDIS. Hey, roundels.
Shut up, you. In that Tales of the TARDIS, all those little the little fluid links and things, you know.
Yep.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, this is great, because where they start banging on the walls, this is never done after this, where the inferences they are being kidnapped, and that they are trapped, and this is a terrifying place to be, because from this point on, when they establish the TARDIS, that's then a safe place to be.
Home. Yeah.
And again, it's not until we get to Tegan going in, and she has no clue, and she's very scared because of this weird place that sort of opened up around us. Is that done again?
That's just this. I mean, it's quite literally electric at this point, but
don't touch it alive.
But it's just so. This whole scene is just so.
It's so brilliant, isn't it? The tension is rising all the way through this.
Nobody is neglected either. Everyone's got a voice in this scene.
And suddenly the Doctor is in charge.
He's playing cat and mouse with them.
Yeah.
I enjoy him. Every time Barbara tells the Doctor off, it's great. How dare you?
And Susan saying she doesn't want to go, but they've got to go because, well, of course they have. They've been discovered.
Yep.
It makes you almost want to see like a couple of stories with just her and the Doctor, to see what that relationship was like before Ian and Bar, because everything changes from this point.
Yeah. Everything is now, the changes in the Doctor are going to happen because of this. He's set the whole thing in motion. Get back from the ship, child!
No, grandfather, no!
I'm glad they got rid of knocking everyone unconscious whenever the TARDIS dematerializes. I don't think that's going to work for the rest of the series, is it?
No, I wish they used this xylophone every time. Oh, what about this shot in a minute of the city?
Isn't it beautiful?
We pull away from the city. That's amazing.
Does the TARDIS knock them unconscious, or is it when Ian very gently lowers himself to the floor?
It does very gingerly do that.
I think it's because he was grappling with him while he was at the controls. You know.
But Barbara is knocked unconscious in the chair.
Maybe it's something about falling over in the TARDIS. I mean, it does for Colin Baker, doesn't it?
It does. It's true.
Yeah, he takes a little spill off his bike and turns into Sylvester McCoy. So maybe it is just,
tumultuous buffeting, I believe it's called.
But doesn't it look magical with the titles superimposed over their faces?
I mean, this way you sort of have no clue. Do you have no clue really what's happening here? It's so weird.
The sound of the TARDIS for
the
first time.
Oh my God. Just imagine hearing that for the first time. I can't remember that not being there. That's been such a part of my life since 1979. And just imagine just hearing that, and the full sound here is just magical.
And then we get the first time we hear that fabulous windy location sound effects, don't we? Which we hear a lot in the William Hartnell era.
And
I mean, we didn't even have eras at this point. There was no William Hartnell era.
This was
it was just Doctor Who.
Just had this one, 21 minutes or whatever.
And it's so worth remembering that this show was on a lifeline for some time. It was getting, what was it? Another 4 weeks and then 12 weeks. And then.
What's that? Oh my God. The Cave of Skulls.
What could it mean? And this strange alien landscape.
And then the music comes in and it doesn't crash in. It just comes in again. And
don't you love the story of Sidney Newman taking Verity Lambert and Waris Hussein out for that Chinese meal, going after the first cuts come in, it's no good, I'm going to sack both of you. No, actually, you've got a second chance, go and shoot it again. I mean, that's unbelievable. They got to do it twice.
I'm glad they did.
I mean, I like the pilot. The pilot's good. But, obviously there is, edges that are smoothed and, when you get to have another go at it.
I know there's a few line trip-ups. I do think the performances are better in the original pilot. I think especially Carol Ann Ford, especially in that TARDIS scene. There's a bit where she just suddenly screams at them, "Oh, why did you come here? Why?" And you don't get like some of those bits in the revised version. It almost was a little bit over-rehearsed in the second version, I think.
Well, I don't know. I just think it's magical, and I'm not going to hear anything said against it because it is possibly the greatest episode of Doctor Who, isn't it? One of the great single episodes. That's how you start the series. And you can see, in some ways, Russell taking the beats of that and realizing that you've got to introduce your characters before you meet the Doctor, because you've got to know what the ordinary is to contrast it with the extraordinary.
I do wonder if, because they are effectively doing a reset with Ncuti Gatwa, we're going to get something like this again, like reintroducing the character all over again for that wider audience that sort of Disney can offer. And you notice how they always go back to this like with Rose, like with Spearhead from Space. They always kind of go back to reintroduce the character from scratch.
I think it's going to be a little bit different with Ncuti, because by all accounts he's going to be in the 3 specials. He's going to be in Star Beast or Wild Blue Yonder or The Giggle or both, or 3, judging from like the trailer we had last year. So how he's going to do that is going to be, if he does want to go down that route of saying, well, we'll have Ruby Tuesday first of all, and then we'll introduce her, and then the Doctor. If he's already introduced his Doctor before then that is going to be a bit.
Ruby Tuesday?
Sunday.
Whatever.
He knew that. He knew that. I consider it fortunate, that the 3 of us like this incredible program, Doctor Who, and we just so happen to have the single best pilot of any TV show ever to start it off. I'm not sure that's matched anywhere else.
No, I mean, look at the cage. For Star Trek.
Oh my God. No. Well, technically it's the man trap, isn't it?
Again, the second time round, and look at all they're all kind of okay, but they're not this.
No.
I think there are pilots that are. I think Buffy has a great pilot. I think the X-Files has a great pilot. There are shows that have good pilots, but there's just something tangibly magical about this that I don't see anywhere else.
it's just the mystery of it. It's, you know, you set the mystery up in the first half. You've got like two halves really. You've got the half outside the TARDIS and you've got the half inside the TARDIS. And for the first half, you are just setting up the mystery of Susan and saying, you know, he has this girl. She's, you know, really good at some things, but really not at others. You get her into the TARDIS and you start to kind of explain these things. But when you're explaining these things, you're kind of asking more questions than you're giving answers to. So it's like, oh, when you stop and think about, so it makes a bit of sense because she's from the future. And so, you know, she doesn't count in pounds and shillings. And, you know, she's really good at science. The experiments we're doing on Child's Play, and just went back in time. So the history is, you know, she knows the history's wrong. So she cannot, you know, she's saying it what's right, but what's been recorded is different. So she's getting it wrong, sort of thing. But then you're still getting these questions of what's, you know, how is this thing bigger on the inside than the outside? And it's explained by Hartnell. Then I don't think there's another attempt to explain it until
Robots to Death.
Robots to Death, yeah.
And even that's just a bit of fun, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then even after that, I think is it Forest of the Night until someone else tries?
Well, I can't even remember that.
That's when
Which says it all.
Well, he has the line about the is it Forest of the Night? It's something about Coke. It's like, do you know how there's like 7 tablespoons of sugar in your Coke? One can of Coke. It's like, yeah, there you go.
Oh God, Moffat. Jesus Christ.
But that explanation about you've seen a great big building on your television screen is really fantastic, because it's using something that the people who are watching at home are watching on the screen.
Yeah.
And so they can absolutely relate to that. That's a brilliant piece of writing.
Well, I was sort of thinking, like, you know, like the box, the TV box that they're watching on is a gateway to adventures, just as the TARDIS is a box, which is a gateway to adventures. Yeah. Well, folks, should we go and have some adventures then?
Let's go find some aliens.
It looked very like an Ice Warrior to me, that shadow.
Ooh. Too many fingers.
Doctor Who's first greatest enemy, the Ice Warriors.
Oh, sorry, we don't know the name of them yet, do we?
We don't.
Nothing has been decided. Oh, I'll cut it there. Okay.
Oh, God, I had terrible trouble.
Why?
Because I played the wrong episode.
Oh, no.
I played part 4, and I was just like, oh, my God. Right, okay, right, try. And the player on this, I should have with BritBox because it just works.
I did one the other day where, honest to God, I had to watch it on a DVD player, and the DVD broke 10 minutes in. And what was I watching? Oh, Scream of the Shauker I was doing on Dylan's. And
Jesus Christ.
And also I was just taking their cues and making it up. You know, the whole thing.
To be honest, no one's ever seen Scream of the Shauker since 2003, and it was rubbish then. So
I don't mind it so much, but it definitely was a
there's a
back alley.
doctor who's taking the money and running. He's dreadful.